Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day it is. Hello. Welcome back to Just One Man Podcast. Well, welcome to Just One Man Podcast if it's your first time joining us. We're back in the Iron Dragon. You're in Merthyr Tydfil, who once again been very gracious in lending us this lovely room upstairs in the heart of the iron capital of the world. And today, we're joined by Alex Williams.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, Inuit. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit sad that I didn't have one of the hoodies or the memo for it. I mean, can I get one? Is that possible?
Maybe a merch shop coming.
There may be a merch shop coming. We have had a bit of interest. So yeah, just before we kick on, just as always, we're really, really grateful for our sponsors. The money that you provide, kind of in aid of us trying to get better equipment and things that we don't have to knock off after 20 minutes and things like that, and resets. So thank you very much. And obviously what you're supporting and the kind words as well are really appreciated. So this episode, one of the sponsors is the old Canalside Cottage in Abercanaid. And if you are visiting Merthyr Tydfil and you're looking for a cosy, inviting home accommodation, then the old Canalside Cottage self-catering holiday let could be the ideal base for you. And it's situated on the Taff Trail in Abercanaid. I know it very well. I'm an Abercanaid boy. It is a beautiful property. It's 5 minutes away from BikePark Wales. And there's also secure bike storage for those that want to hit the trails. And if the free local pubs in the village aren't enough, then you're just a short trip up to Merthyr Town for shopping, food, drink, maybe you're in the Iron Dragon, and local attractions such as Cyfarthfa Park. And it's immaculately presented throughout, and it's rated 4-star with Visit Wales. It's a small cottage with a big welcome. Check them out on Facebook if you're interested, and they're on Airbnb as well. And the second sponsor is Full Spectrum. Again, thank you very much to Gareth and to Faith for putting you a Faith. See what I did there? I was done in the podcast. Full Spectrum is coming back to Merthyr.
Bloody wait.
It was awesome, wasn't it? The last one was great. It's going to be on Friday the 15th of March. It's back in the Scala. It's fighting its way past some of the difficulties the Scala's had at the moment, and it's going to be a great night. It's a night of music, of stand-up comedy, of spoken word, and a few surprises chucked in. They've got some great acts again. We went to the last one, and it was a lot of fun.
It was your obviously the first time for you to go.
Yeah.
Yes, we were Full Spectrum virgins.
I've been to a few of them. To be fair, they're all so different, but still really good.
Yeah, and it's so nice to see the local, how much talent is in the local community in Merthyr, in surrounding areas.
Yeah, the local people involved in it go out there just trying to do their own thing.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, it's going to be a good night. It's a great night for all.
Yeah, and it isn't what you expect.
No, absolutely.
I'll say that because I think I went there thinking, oh, this is going to be... I'm going to enjoy it, but is it going to be a bit... No, it may not be my thing. I thought, I'll probably enjoy the band. And instead, I found myself absolutely captivated by, the poetry and the spoken word. Some of those were incredible.
Singing.
The singers were great. The comedy, I was literally hurting. It was great. And obviously on that one we had the Cherry Long Stockings as well, which was a burlesque show, and a shout out to Holly as well, who's a good friend of the show. But yeah, you can get your tickets from citizentickets.co.uk. Search for the Full Spectrum Project, and if you want to as well, join on Facebook, and that's where the community really comes together. They're really active. They post loads and loads. But yeah, 15th of March, if you're in or around Merthyr, make sure you get to the Scala.
Can we just shout out the mugs as well?
We should probably shout out the mugs.
Nice thank you mugs from Miss Max Meeks. Check them out on Facebook.
It's not a mug. It's a Guinness, but it's a Guinness.
But if Guinness, if you're listening...
Hang on.
Oh, look at this!
Hang on. There you go. There you go.
Right.
Shout out the mugs.
No, it's all
There we go. Now we can do that.
No, it's all
bit.
And we're all matching now.
Back to the hoodies as well. I didn't mention it last week, and so...
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't, and she's probably going to kill me, but top secret. And Dijon, thank you very much.
I guess they're ordering them all.
Yeah. Well,
I'd free your weekends, I'd love.
but yeah, great. Thank you very much for
Good dinner, quite Michael.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, they are nice.
Well, they've already warned her she might need a factory in the next 2 to 3 months. So sort out Dijon.
Yeah, we'll definitely get merch ordered long.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Let's.
So where do we start?
Beginning?
From the beginning.
From the beginning. Like, how far in the beginning? Where do we start?
So, I have already popped. Can I say, actually, speaking someone in the delivery room. Yeah, so obviously I first kind of came across you and met you as a result of Man v FAT.
Yeah.
Which you are the head coach of in Merthyr, and you run very successfully, might I add. For anyone out there who hasn't heard of Man v FAT, what is it?
On the elevator pitch of Man v FAT. The elevator pitch of Man v FAT. So Man v FAT was set up as a community of overweight men. And I say that word, it's a football league, but it's more of a community. Yeah. So the whole idea of it is getting guys together, losing weight collaboratively together in a really nice environment. So it's kind of like, think of like Slimming World. Everyone's missus or mum or nan or someone has been part of Slimming World.
Yeah, and they know that day they got to be there.
Exactly. They know that day they got to be there. The only thing with Slimming World is it's an individual thing, right? So Man v FAT, it's a team event, right? So if you have a really shit week, it doesn't just affect you now, it affects the rest of your team. So it puts that bit of onus that, I'm not going to smash that second pack of Star Mix or Haribo. I'm going to only have the 1 pack of Haribo, right? And that's kind of that, and it drives the conversations regarding weight loss and what works for different people and how that works. Now, I've been part of Man v FAT for like 4 years, in terms of that, and I'm sure we'll discuss that as well. But Man v FAT is 100% first and foremost a community of overweight lads or people who are, even severely obese as well, all different skill levels. You don't have to be a footballer to be part of Man v FAT. It's literally just about the community, good group, good environment, lads losing weight together.
Yeah.
And scoring a couple of goals and having a laugh in the process.
Yeah.
Awful lot of socials in the Merthyr Club as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what's about it. It is, and I think what I found really interesting when I was doing a bit of a kind of research, I suppose, for lack of a better word, but was how it works. Yeah. In terms of, that you could win 10-0 on the pitch, but still end up losing, depending on how your team has kind of performed on the scale.
Of course, yeah, it makes you think about it and evaluate it in a bit of a different way. Yeah. So, like with Man v FAT, basically we take a pitch score. So whatever you score on the pitch, and like you said there, you could win 10-0 and lose overall. Yeah. Right? We have 3 scoring methods. So you got the pitch, the weight, and then the combined. Right? We basically take the pitch and we take whatever you score on the scales, combine them together, and that's how we get our final result, right, in terms of what we put out on the pitch. So you might be the best footballer out there in the world scoring a hat-trick every week, but if you're not losing weight and you're not helping your team, then that's not going to benefit your team. It's a collaboration between football and weight loss working together, right? So you have, and you see it across Man v FAT as well, you have some teams that are awesome at losing weight. They're shedding hundreds and hundreds of kilos across the course of a 14-week season.
But they can't score goals.
Yeah. But then they win overall. Yeah. But then they win overall.
But I couldn't lose the weight either.
But that's I think that's probably a good incentive as well, for obviously getting involved in the football, and then as well as the weight loss journey.
For sure, and I think that's what it is. It is the key word in there is journey, right? So weight loss is, losing weight's not hard. Consistently losing weight is very hard. Yeah. And to do it over a long period of time is extremely hard. And nobody's kind of weight loss. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have ever been like massively overweight or anything like that, but nobody's weight loss is just like that. It doesn't work like that. It's a whole journey of ups and downs. Yeah. But as long as it's on that trajectory, and Man v FAT kind of helps you with that trajectory. So it doesn't matter if you have a shit week. It doesn't matter if you put on, couple of pounds in a week. We measure everything in Merthyr Fat in kilos because it's easier to track.
Yeah.
Right? But it doesn't matter if you had a bit of a shit week and you've gone up a couple of pounds. Like, it's natural. It's going to happen, right? Everybody's got lives. Everybody's got work. Everybody's got stresses. You know, you don't know if you're going for an all-you-can-eat buffet with your mates.
There's so many different factors.
Exactly. There's so many different factors.
It's when you're starting off as well. It's when you first say, right, I'm going to lose X amount of stone.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. I tend to not do it as a time limit because the first week you'll do it, it's because you've gone so far through and the change. Then you've lost, I don't know, say £9 in a week. You're like, oh yes,
It's water weight.
It's a lot of water weight.
Yeah, water weight flies off. Yeah. And if you think, oh my God, I'm indestructible, then the second week, like, oh my God, I'm still fat.
Yeah.
No, you say that, you laugh, but it's a true story. So you have some guys who will come in on their first week and they'll end up losing some like 3 kilos, which is like a half a stone. Like, losing half a stone in a week, obviously that's all water weight. And then you sat there as a coach trying to explain that, look, don't be disheartened if you only lose a kilo next week. A lot of this is water weight. It's trying to educate the lads around that. But it's not just about don't eat shit, right? It's not about that. We're not saying don't have a Mackey's, don't have a curry, and don't eat your favourite foods. But what I'm saying is, well, the key word is, like, we've all done it. You go to Mackey's, right? You go for the drive-through, and it's like, do you want anything else after you made your order? It's like, oh, yeah, I'll have the cheeseburger to drive home with, right? I'm saying don't eat that cheeseburger. That's all I'm saying. And you just make those small sacrifices, and then over the time it builds up.
Yeah, because I've done it in the past where I've done it and I've lost, say, like I said, £9. I'm, oh yes, cloud 9. Here we go. Next week I'm like, oh, and then I'm 4 weeks into it. I haven't touched a bit of chocolate, or I haven't had a Mackey's, or I haven't had anything. And then it's not depression then, but you start missing it, and that
you start the demons start kicking up. Like, why am I doing this? It's much harder to just stick to this than it is just to smash them. You know.
And then you go to McDonald's, you have a £30 order for yourself, and then you go, oh, that's it. That's off a bandwagon, and you go start all over again.
You might as well just smash out the weekend and start again Monday, and you make those excuses then, right? Yeah.
I suppose it's different as well because everyone's body is different, and everyone loses weight differently.
Yeah.
Different foods act with different people. And I suppose you get that quite a lot with you. And the different groups probably talk about it quite a lot and be, well, I can eat this and it does this for me. And
100%. So I actually became a bit of like a nutrition geek. I say as I'm sat here drinking Guinness, but I did become a bit of an iron. But I did come here and became a bit of a nutrition geek as well through my entire time with Merthyr Fat. And looking at things and researching a lot. Like, I promise you guys, there is not a single diet that you can throw at me that I did not do or try. I can promise you that 100%. I was that dickhead that wrapped myself in clean film in my shed, right? Do you know what you see Full Marty when he wrapped himself in clean film? I was that guy. I wrapped myself in clean film. I did the Atkins. I did...
anything to take a few inches off. You think, oh my God, it's working. You literally have like one glass of water and, oh my God, there it is.
Well, I remember the first time I ever did keto. I did keto for the first time, and I did 16 pounds in 17 days, right, doing this keto diet. But in the end of it, I generally would have sold my mam for a rich tea biscuit. Like, I was that, like, I genuinely was 100% willing to trade my mam for a rich tea biscuit. And my mam's the world, right? Love, shout out to mum. But yeah, it's like,
unless it's a rich tea biscuit.
Unless it's a rich tea biscuit, man.
you even have a pocket.
But yeah, it's just, I can guarantee you there's not a single diet that I've not tried.
Yeah.
And I'm currently experimenting with a carnivore diet at the moment. So a lot of meat, cheese, eggs, and that sort of diet. But yeah, again, I did a lot in nutrition and trying to educate lads around the nutritional side of it and what to look for and what to stay away for. The traffic light system. This is the one thing that gets me, the traffic light system on food, right? You see it, red means bad, and all this sort of stuff. Not necessarily. No, you got to look at it.
Copes with it. Of
course, you got to look at it. And I do an awful lot of training now, gym training, an awful lot like around the nutrition side of it. And if it's all red, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all bad, but people think that that's the case. Mm-hmm. The one thing I think that we struggle with as more of a nation than anything, and this is for me from when I was my heaviest, I struggle with it as well. If it's all green or all like a couple of yellows, that's fine. I can eat as much of that as I want. And I was one of these kids who just smashed a massive fuck off bowl of pasta. Yeah. And think, oh, it's all right, it's pasta. Yeah, it's not. Pasta is the devil, right? Pasta is the devil because I can't just have a portion of pasta.
Well, yeah.
I have to have a mixing bowl of pasta.
It's the same though, isn't it, as when you got people who say, oh, I'm going to watch what I eat. So they have a meal deal from Tesco's, and think, because I'm not eating food and spoons, I'm not having a McDonald's or a KFC, or something, because I'm having little pasta or that. But then the amount of like fat in it, and the amount of sugar and salt and all the rest of it is,
and then that adds onto the water in your body, and it's like game over.
We were talking before we started recording that you train regularly, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know as well as I do, a Tesco meal deal sandwich is probably the worst thing on the planet that you can have for lunch, right? But it's all branded out that you need this. Yeah. This is a big thing. Like, have your sandwich, have your packet of crisps and your bottle of pop or whatever. It's probably like the worst meal deal that you can have. Yeah. In terms of that, when you can just, and
a lot of it as well, I think, comes down to the fact that we are... I think just by our nature, with a culture of convenience, it is easy. Yeah, it's easier to, like you said, go to Tesco and grab a meal deal, or thinking, I'm driving home. Oh, do I really want to cook? Because I could go to McDonald's, and you see those that giant yellow arch, and you think, and you're just like, I think 100%.
And I think it's all right occasionally. It's all right to do that. Right? It's just, again, it's that thing of when you start realising that you're smashing 2 or 3 takeaways a week. And then you've got to think of the financial burden on there as well.
I've been there many times. I would guess it's a really common thread as well. And I remember, because in the first lockdown, I lost 4.5 stone. As you can see, I found it. I found it again. It didn't take too long to find, but I lost 4.5 stone. And I remember one of my best mates who had just qualified as a PT at the time, and I was like a guinea pig client, I suppose.
Oh, you was the project.
Used me as the project. But I remember that I was obsessed with the number, and he kept saying, "Stop being obsessed with the number." Because he said the number is it's neither here nor there. He said, because as you said, everyone's body's different. And at the time I was something like 19.5 stone. And he said, right, you're the same weight in numerical value, you're the same weight as The Rock. Wow. You're the same weight as Dwayne Johnson.
Basically, he told you The Rock, didn't he?
But that's the thing. He said, but look at you and look at The Rock. They're two very different ways of carrying 19.5 stone. The Rock doesn't creak out of bed in the morning and feel out of puff getting off the settee. But I always remember that. I've listened to, don't pay too much attention to the number, because it's about how you feel. It's about healthy habits and routines, and positive habits, and just getting, yourself kind of happier and better, because I may work my bollocks off, and the mad thing is that I'll be a similar weight, but I will look differently.
Yeah.
This is something we have to have conversations with the lads a lot of times as well, because even though you can't see it coming down the scale, doesn't mean your body's not changing with it, right? So we always recommend, and we put it in
images of...
we put it in their handbooks. Like, take a photo of you at the start of the season, because the season runs for 14 weeks. And if you're losing a kilo a season, you're losing like best part of 2.5 stone every 14 weeks.
And it is. And
it's the fitness side of it as well.
Of course. It is, and I've still got photos on my phone of when I was doing it, because I used to weigh every Sunday morning.
Jordan can drop them in.
Well, I'll happily show like a before and after of when I was doing it, and you'll see like there was a noticeable transformation. But I also think I went too far.
Did you become obsessive with it?
I became obsessive to the point where my missus was cooking, I'd be over her kind of shoulder and scanning images, and that's too many grams, that's too many. And I was on my fitness pal religiously, and I remember obviously that first pandemic was really difficult for lots of people for plenty of different reasons. And that first Christmas, if you remember, was when we had the really late lockdown, the Mark Drakeford lockdown, but he did it right before Christmas, when he came out at like 7 o'clock in the night and said, right, you got till 12, and then bam.
That was the one with the UK government were like, nah, we're not back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I remember thinking, you know, we've had all these months and our lives have kind of changed. But I was so ingrained in I lose weight. I've got to lose weight. It was probably the most miserable Christmas, not just because of COVID, but because I didn't indulge.
Yeah.
And then
Didn't enjoy Christmas.
no, and then I put £1 on over Christmas. But I was livid that I put £1 on, and everyone else was like, "Is there something wrong with you? You've only put £1 on."
So going back then to Merthyr Fat, the lads that you talk about, are they? So they come to you to lose weight, basically.
Yeah.
Through the means of football. Do they come because that they want to play football with like-minded, or not like-minded then, but a similar sort of physicality of other different lads?
I think it's very much split in the half. I think some of the lads are coming thinking, the weight loss side is not for me. I fancy a game of football every week and that sort of thing. And I think the other lads are going, right, you know, I've tried every diet like Alex did. Yeah. You know, I've done everything. Nothing's working. Let me have a look at it. Right? I think it's very much split in the half in terms of that. Is when the lads that come for the football realise what can be achieved by doing it. That's when they normally invest themselves and buy into the cause. Now, it's not. I'm not saying this for everybody. It's not for everybody. You know, there's people that have come and gone through the club or have got to an ideal weight of where they want to be and they've left. Or there's people that have been at Merthyr now losing weight for a wedding and then they've gone, oh, okay, I've had the wedding. I'm going to stay now because these are 105 of my mates. You know, I'm not going to disappear and leave these.
It's like a community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the main thing. But yeah, ultimately, everybody in the club is losing weight. I think so. Since we've been up and running now, we're on our 5th season at the moment. The season's 14 weeks. And collectively as a club now, we've lost over 600 kilos, which is a stupid amount of weight. Yeah. That is a stupid amount of weight to lose as a club. Yeah. And yeah, all the guys, and you see them now, you see some of the before and after photos. Like,
I've seen a few.
It's mental. Some of them are mental. And it's because you see them every week. You don't really see it.
Yeah, it's you actually look at the before and after photos. You don't actually see, like...
It's like you could absolutely smash it out and, you know, have a really good month or something, but your missus at home is not going to see that difference, right? It's not until you spend that time away from someone, come back, right? And it's like, shit, okay, right, this was happening. And obviously, because I'm seeing these guys every single week and incorporating my life, and the amount of group chats I've had to mute as well.
I've viewed all about the Merthyr Fat WhatsApp groups and that they are carnage.
It is absolute carnage, and I'm bearing in mind I'm in all of them. All right, so this is the thing; it's absolute carnage. So we have this ongoing, like, it's this joke at Alex at the moment at FAT Merthyr that there's a 2-day waiting period for me to come back to you, but you have to at me in the chat for me to come back to you. Not quite, maybe a day, I don't know. But yeah, it's absolutely carnage. But it's when you look at it, it's really, really good stuff that's being shared and talked about. So it's before and after photos, diet plan.
Yeah, they're all helping each other out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I think that's good as well, just because maybe when they're in the house, they haven't got nobody to speak to about it.
Yeah.
And maybe they go through a week and it's like, oh, do you know what? I don't really know what to do this week. Drop a message to the boys and see
what everyone's up to. We did social lists and stuff.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's great. Just like say, it's a big community, and it's not just about the football; it's about people as well.
Yeah. They're around like-minded individuals who are there for the same reasons, but they've also got the same anxieties, the same problems. It's a shared experience.
Every week to play football, and they wouldn't go to a normal football club and play football, but just because of the anxiety side of it, and they wouldn't want to do it. But whereas they go there and they feel at home, probably.
Well, these are the conversations that I have with my lads a lot of the time. Like I was massive before I started Merthyr Fat, and I had everything that they're feeling. Yeah, stepping onto that pitch for the first time or speaking to the coach for the first time. I did that. I understood the anxiety, the standing on the scales in front of someone I didn't know, and I think that's partly why. I don't know if there's the logic behind it, but I think it's partly why Merthyr Fat do everything in kilos, right? Because if we did it in stone and pounds, everybody's kind of autumn formatted to that.
Yeah.
If we do it in kilos, it's easier to manage and track what's coming off, but also at the same time, it's not familiar to everybody.
No.
You know what? I know what 179 kilos looks like. You guys don't.
Yeah.
But if I told you 27.5 stone, you think, fuck, that's a big boy. You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, because that's obviously when I was having like the PT sessions like that. Like that's what was really jarring for me, is that he kind of only knew weight in kilos. Yeah. And I would say, yeah, but how much stone? How much? And he'd be like, I don't know. It's X amount of kilos. I'd be like, yeah, but how many stone? I just need to know the stone.
I have to explain, like, obviously, all my stories with these guys that I've experienced that gym fear. The first time I stepped in a gym, when I started playing football, left rugby and started playing football, and how I got into it. And yeah, share your experiences and how fucking terrifying it was at times, Like, I was that guy that drove to the gym when I had this mindset of, I'm going to do it, got to the gym, got to the car park, sat there for 10 minutes, talked myself out of it, and then drove home. And I did that for months before I actually started going in there.
I'm surprised how many people do it.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a real thing. And to talk about it with the guys, and there's a number of guys in Merthyr, and it's not just the Merthyr club I'm involved with. I'm involved with Merthyr Fat Cardiff, Merthyr Fat Newport as well. We do bits and pieces with Swansea, and everybody's experienced this, but nobody's talking about it.
Yeah,
and I think that's just trying to raise that. And
yeah, because you've alluded a few times, but you were on weight loss.
I was a monster, mate.
It's I know. I've seen and it is like looking at two different people.
Yeah.
So what was the total?
So there was 179 kilos. So it was 27.5 stone. That was the heaviest that I was when I actually stood on scales. I was heavier than that, but I refused to stand on the scales for years. And that was just years of abusing my body and just being an absolute bellend, to be honest. But yeah, obviously there's a lot of stuff that led up to that type of size. And the thing is, though, I was always big, but I was always still playing football to a certain extent. So I had one game a week in which I played with my mates from school in a cage, 5-a-side cage down in Cardiff. And there was a guy on the sidelines that used to always be there. And after our session was 6 till 7. And then Merthyr Fat started 7 till 9, up straight after us on the same pitch. And they were on the sidelines, and obviously, bear in mind, I was like, no word of a lie, I was like 2 smeg fridges with legs. Like, I was fucking massive as a guy. And he said, look, you should consider joining and being part of this. Like, so I said, yeah, okay, no worries. 3-4 weeks, he's still on the sidelines. Like, come and be part of it. Come and have a look at it. Yeah, all right, mate, no worries. Another 2 weeks go by. Oh, do you know what? Yeah, I'm looking for an extra game of football. Why not? I didn't sign up to lose weight. I signed up to play the extra game of football, see what it was all about, right? And then it was literally like that. I just got the bug. For it. I started losing weight. Exactly what you described earlier, right? You started becoming, I was unhealthily obsessive with it. Yeah. I just done that whole thing where you broke up with your ex-missus at the time, and I was like, oh, I'll show you, and all this. Like, got that mentality behind me, backing me, and kind of spurring me forward. I'm
on it now.
And I managed to do 6 stone over a really fast period of time. So it was 27.5 when I weighed, and I managed to do 6 stone then in around about 8 months,
which is incredible.
It was probably a bit too fast in that time, because I actually made myself ill. This was the thing I couldn't get my head around, that I'd lost all this weight, but I'd actually ultimately made myself ill. My gallbladder basically stopped and started breaking down. So because I had just gone straight onto this healthy food. And switch my diet up.
It was so quick.
Yeah, it was too sudden. I wasn't spoiling myself. Yeah, I wasn't spoiling myself every now and again and eating fatty foods. Everything was like turkey mince. Yeah. Turkey mince, rice. This was my life. Yeah. 6 stone in 8 months. Was feeling great, and then that was it. Like, your gallbladder just shut down, stopped working. So I was in this really ironic state where I was getting healthier, but I was also getting unhealthy at the same time. Yeah. And that kind of like knocked me, and I was thinking, all right, okay. Here we go, probably assess this. And this was just pre-COVID as well. So then I had to wait best part of 2.5-3 years to have my gallbladder removed. So no cheese. I fucking love cheese. No cheese, none of that. Spent a couple of nights in hospital and stuff, and sticking me full of morphine if I have like a roast dinner. I was like, wasn't in a good place at all with it. Finally got a soy, continued the weight loss journey, and I'm still going now. So I'm down to 106 kilos now. So in total, that's 72 kilos, nice. Which I managed to lose. since starting Merthyr Fat. And I think the one thing that's good is like, it's the same thing I say to the guys every time they come up and join the club right from new, because all different shapes and sizes, all different football abilities, everybody. And I'll always say the same thing to everyone. And if the guys are listening, they'll know this, because I would have said it to each and every one of them. I know it looks weird that a fat guy is going to teach you and tell you how to lose weight, but this is what I used to look like. And then you show them a photo, right? And then it's like, right, trust me, the program works. You stick to it. You play your cards right. You move with the right people. You do the right things at the right times. And this really does kind of take off for you and transform you.
I think like the way you obviously you speak to them when they come in, and like you said, you've got a fat guy telling you you're going to lose weight. Yeah. And they look at you as if to say, is he crazy? And then you bring the photo out, then it's like the sort of...
Yeah, but it's the same mentality, innit? You know, like I remember hearing once, you should never get tattooed by a person that haven't got tattoos themselves.
Or get your hair cut by a bald barber. I hear that one.
You know, I suppose when you can evidence it, when you can clearly show, listen, look. Just look.
I mean, people hear it all the time, don't they? Oh, I did this, I did that, I did that. And you can go, well, no, I actually fucking did. Like, this is what I used to look like.
It's black and white.
Yeah, you go to the gym now and you pick up 70 kilos and, like, you know, like, the type of weight of what 70 kilos is. Like, I was carrying that around
every day.
Every day. And this is why I've managed to skip leg day and don't have to train legs ever again, because I was carrying that around for as many years as I was, you know? So, yeah, mad.
I'd like to rewind, if I can. Of course. To when you said about there was things that led up to you being your biggest weight. Yeah. Would you mind talking about a little bit about that? Yeah, of course. Just because if somebody can relate to what you went through leading up to that weight, then if somebody else is going through the same thing, they can kind of pinpoint it if you say it, and then obviously you've done the weight loss now.
Yeah, so for sure. So I mean, it kind of, I was always a big kid. I was always fat, like always, like massive. Right, I say massive. I think I was like, I remember being at one point, I think I was like 10 years old. I was like 8 stone. I was like way overweight.
Yeah.
Right? And back when we're talking, I was born in 92. So if you were fat and you were in primary school or something like that, you were a prop. Right? You played rugby and you were a prop. If you were fat, you were a prop. That's how it worked. And I kind of latched onto that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be the prop now. I went through primary school and, you know, started high school. And then there was a couple of different factors. I think I'm like the prime candidate really for like, you know, mental health issues. And there's plenty of issues that I've got that I'm still dealing with personally, and there's battles that I'm still dealing with as an individual that I haven't addressed. And, you know, that have happened a long time ago. I'm still not in that position that I'm ready to address them personally. Yeah. But I mean, you know, I think for me, my mother fell ill. She had a stroke when I was 13, and that was like a lot of quick growing up. You know, it was like, right, okay, I've got to look after my mum. Yeah, obviously, prior to that, my parents broke up when I was like 9. So that was a messy divorce, to be honest. It was back and forth, playing the kids off each other, that type of thing, which is, it's always horrible to see, but, you know, different time. Yeah, so my mother fell at 13. I had to grow up really quick and start looking after her. My old man died when I was 17 while we were on holiday. He had a heart attack. And again, that was again another issue that I'm not really dealt with yet. But basically I had to give him CPR for 40 minutes until an ambulance had turned up at 17. You don't wish that on anybody, especially a 17-year-old, you know. Yeah. No, it's horrific. It sticks with you. You still see the face. Yeah, it sticks with you, right? And it's, you know, the amount of times people say, you know, you want to go and speak to someone. It's like, well, I will speak to someone, but when I'm ready to speak to someone, and this has happened, it's nearly 14 years ago, 15 years ago, and I will deal with it when I'm at that position to deal with it. Yeah, of course. So yeah, all this. Kind of leading in, I had a really big injury to my knee. I was still playing rugby, decent level in school, you know, really enjoying it. Morgan Wanderers type of level and stuff. Like, right, okay, here we go. Castle at the Cardiff Review, and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to be a rugby player. I smashed my knee up. I fall down the stairs of a double-decker bus, and do you know the bars at the bottom of the double-decker bus? Just smashed my knee clean on that, right? So left knee gone, right? No more rugby, right? You better start thinking about a backup plan, right? Go to college, go to uni, and all that sort of stuff. And I think the issue for me was obviously an absolute multitude of all these different things. I was always overweight anyway. But then when I went to college, and I went to uni, I had that access to my own money. I think when I had that access to my own money, that was probably like the deadly blow more than anything, because it was like, do you remember EMA back in the day? If you're in college, you got your EMA, right? 30 quid a week, but that was 30 quid of my money, right? I'm going straight to Asda's, right? So, yeah, and I remember going to like Asda's and buying 8 sausage rolls on lunchtime and just smashing them all and thinking, oh, there you go. Well, that's that. And I move on. And I would do that. Like, that was like Monday to Friday.
Just normal.
Just smash eight sausage rolls, right? And then with the nutritionist vibe inside me now, you're looking at it, you're thinking, how are you still alive? Like, how did you manage to do that, right? It's like, what? I think it worked out. It was like something like 4,300 calories or something in sausage rolls. Like, it's stupid. And there's a whole lot of reds in the traffic light system on there, right? That's just like pure death, right? So yeah, you got all that going on. As soon as I get old enough, starting at beers, and that just doesn't help. You're out partying and doing stupid shit that you definitely shouldn't do. And then I ended up working in recruitment. All right, so selling people to people for a living, like literally like legal pimp. It was really weird. I know, I was genuine, right?
That's one line that I like.
I promise you, I was working in a petrol station at the time, down in St. Athan, and a guy came in. He came in regularly, and I kept trying to upsell him a bottle of Coke. Every time he came, he was like, "Do you want a bottle of Coke, mate?" Because it was like I was like on this really weird commission where I got like 20p if I sold this couple of bottles of Coke. I was like, "Do you want the Coke?" And like the 4th, 5th time he came in the petrol station, and I knew his order as well. And his name's Paul, but I won't say his full name. But he'd have a pack of lamb and butter silver, and this is when they weren't green packets. This is back in the day when they were proper lamb and butter silver. And then he started ordering a Coke every single time that he came in. And he came in one day and he was like, "Look, do you want a job?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Have you ever considered recruitment?" I was like, "No, I've never considered recruitment." I was doing construction in college. I was like, I never considered it. So yeah, come with me. Yeah, go on then. Something's going to be better than petrol station. And I accidentally, like every single other recruitment consultant in the world, accidentally fell into recruitment. And they did that for 12 years. But with that access came more money and more stupid shit. Yeah. And living beyond my means and partying Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday club and not going to sleep. And 7 o'clock in the morning, you're around someone's breakfast counter, contemplating your life and these sorts of things, right? And I think it all built up to a point of, I was with my missus at the time, it all built up to this one point, and it was just like, remember, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I woke up after a heavy session, it was a Sunday, and there was like leftover like KFC on the side, and see, I was smoking 20 fags a day. How I did not die, I don't know, right? And like, it was one of these kind of situations where I was like, look, you got to change something here. And I had literally had a revelation. I was lying in bed. I was living down Barry Island at the time. And there was Barry Vados, right, at the time. And I was living in one of these apartments that overlooked the sea. And there was a seagull on top of the light. And it woke me up 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was thinking, what am I doing with my life? And literally like that, flipped like a switch.
Like that, done.
Flipped like a switch, different mentality. Right, okay, let's try and get this going. I was 24, 25? No, I wasn't. I was older than that. Or 26, 27. I had that flip that switch. I was like, right, like I'm gonna kill myself. If I keep living like this, I am 100% gonna kill myself. And yeah, that was probably when I was at my heaviest. I never weighed myself.
Yeah, because it well, I don't know if it does, but it kind of me answered a question from Mark Collins, very good friend of ours,
friend of the podcast.
First ever guest.
I link his video around whenever I'm pointing. It'll be like a.
And yeah, and basically what he said was, what was that trigger moment that you decided that you either needed or wanted to make a lifestyle change? And it sounds like that.
It was that moment where I was an absolute idiot. I reckon, honest answer, I reckon I was probably around 29, 30 stone, probably around that type of size. And I was drinking, partying Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I started dabbling in devil's dandruff and stuff like that. And you're thinking, like, you're the size you are. Like, your dad died of a heart attack.
Yeah. And your body's got to work 10 times harder because of that extra weight and strain.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're waking up now on a Sunday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so your sleeping pattern's fucked for work on Monday. Yeah. Right? No matter what.
You're tired going into work.
You're tired going to work. There's like, where's like the stop point? Where's the breaking point for you to... Yeah. And it's going to end either with you changing your shit or in a casket. That's literally how it's going to work. And yeah, that was the moment. Yeah, genuine, 100%. Like, there wasn't any, like, you know, aura of light or anything. I was just lying in bed looking up at this seagull that woke me up, and it just went, right, got to change.
Yeah. It would have been brilliant if the seagull spoke to you. Because he were under the influence. The seagull was just like, listen, Al, we need a word.
I can find any more yet.
And you know what? I think it was hard because you had to, like, distance yourself from certain friendship groups and people that you incorporate with. And
I suppose you've created them groups, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday clubs.
But the one thing was weird. I was kind of like the oldest in that group. So I was like 26, 27, and these were like 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds that I was knocking about with. And you're thinking, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Because when you were in that kind of period, let's call it party Alex.
Yeah.
When you were in that period, kind of how do the relationships with everyone else work? Kind of, you know, was there any strain on kind of family relationships or friends who weren't part of that vibe, that scene?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I think I very purposely split, like, there's two different groups of friends. Like, you had my friends that knew me as Alex, the recruitment consultant, they knew me from school, and then you had the friends that knew me as Party Alex. Like, don't worry, he'll get a bottle of Jaeger in now, and he'll neck half the bottle in one go, and he'll be that guy, right?
Yeah.
And I very much, like, kept them always apart and always split. And it was, like, that moment, it was probably quite hard to split myself from those groups, to say, look, John, guys, no, I'm not coming out on Thursday. I'm not doing this. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't go, like, you know, full, like, oh, I'm never drinking ever again or anything, or, you know, this sort of stuff. But I just kind of went.
It needed to be reasonable.
Yeah, it needed to be reasonable, and I kind of, like, I still do that now. So, like, I'm probably not very healthy, but if I do have a drink now or go out with the lads or boys from work or whatever, then I'll do that maybe like once every 3 months.
Yeah,
you know, I don't go out and party every weekend, anything like that. I got stuff to do. I'm a grown up now.
Yeah, when it's organised, it's not just Thursday. Come on, we'll go out, and
for sure
10 pints later, it's
easy to do that. Oh, sorry, love. Yeah, I'll be home in 5. Yeah, and just turn your phone off. It's never kind of been that for me. But to distance myself from those friends, I think that was quite difficult. I think I dealt with it quite well at the time, because it was like, look, no, I'm trying to make a bit of a significant change. And then you see those friends like 6 months later, and you're like 4 stone lighter, and they're like, oh shit, okay, right. And there's some of these people now that I've not seen since I like distanced myself from the group, and they've only ever known 30 stone Alex. They've never met 16 stone Alex. Yeah, you know, we've never had that conversation after that period of time as well. So yeah, I kind of look forward to those days as well. Like, you know, this is what I did. But yeah, it's just, that was the trigger moment. I just lying in bed and a seagull told me, sort your shit out, basically. Mark, I'll be honest with you, mate.
You see, it might be a silly question, but do you see, if you go to Barry now, do you see it in a different kind of light because that's where your epiphany was?
Do you know what, recently, yes.
Never.
And that's weird to say that you mentioned that as well. Recently, yes. So I used to live on Barry Island, and if anyone knows Barry, there's a big, massive, fuck off yellow welly in Barry outside the life station, and I used to live directly opposite that. And the amount of mornings I'm stood there like 5 o'clock in the morning, like drinking, looking at this bloody welly, like it was ridiculous. And I left that apartment and I went and got a house in Ponty, right? And then I moved away from like Barry, the party and stuff, moved to Ponty, skinny dog, had the skinny dog. So moved to
say all places. I say that. Merthyr Tydfil.
No, I moved to Ponty, and then it was just kind of like a different world. It was like,
you find that up, yeah.
It was a different world. It was like I was going up like Barry Sidings and just walking around aimlessly for hours and getting lost. First time at Barry Sidings, I managed to get lost, and it got dark. I got absolutely terrified. I couldn't find my way back down. You know, thinking, it's going to be like what 3 word situation, isn't it? You know, mountaineers at Barry Sidings. But yeah, it just kind of like changed. But recently, my mum. I'm obviously really close to my mum. I still look after my mum now. She's just got her first bungalow, downsized to a bungalow on Barry Island, around the corner from where I used to live. Wow, okay. So it was kind of like every time I pop down there now and see her, see the little dog, I always drive past my old apartment, always, and I always have. Yeah. Always have. And I always kind of get that urge to put the code in on the door to see if it still works when you get in. Never do it, but yeah, we had that urge. But it was like the prime area for me to get fat as fuck as well, because there was a donut shop directly underneath my house. Right?
Look how many takeaways and stuff are all in that area.
Juice chip shops, you got, like the good sheds and all that down there, all the...
Hang Fire was a really good restaurant. It was really a restaurant. And they had the, literally, as I was leaving, the week I was leaving, they just put a Greg's on the end, so it's probably a good thing. That was the week I was leaving. But, I mean, long story short, I'm not, by no means not done in my journey. I'm still losing weight. I'm still an active player in Man v Fat, just in a different league as well. But I think that's quite nice as well, because I'm able to talk to these guys about my experience, what I'm doing.
Hey, you've done the journey.
Yeah, well, still doing the journey, right? And I think that's really good. But yes, I do see Barry in a different light now, more recently than anything. If you'd asked me 3 weeks ago, probably not. But yeah, recently I do.
Because, when obviously Man v Fat is every Friday evening. My wife had a question.
Yeah, another one.
I know. Sure, she's very popular. Is my wife. She's very good to me. She's very good. She's too good to me, actually. And she asked if you'd ever foresee there being a women's version.
Oh. Right. So generally, right, this is actually a thing that's been floated, 100%. So obviously, we make it all community, right? So at Man v Fat Merthyr, people bring their kids. They can't get babysitters. Don't worry, there's 104 beautiful fat men that are going to look after your kid, kick the ball around with them and that sort of stuff. But we found recently that the women have started getting involved a lot more. They turn into the socials. Yeah. They're having a beer on the sidelines, because obviously we've got Roman's Bar at Merthyr as well. So they'll have a beer, watch the guys play football, take the piss out of us half the time, say they can do it better. And it was actually floated by these guys that there should be a man v fat, woman v fat, right? That should be a thing, right? They wanted to push that out. Now, I genuinely think, honestly, with everything in my being, that this is something that is being explored. I'm not sure if they're using the same format as Man v Fat. I'm not sure if it was Netball v Fat that was thrown around originally. I think that was one of the original things. But I think they are looking into Women v Fat. Yeah. Ultimately, we're just a kick-ass slimming world. We're a kick-ass slimming world. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, right? Yeah, I mean, it is something that is being explored. Yeah. So yes, Mrs. Abram.
You can dress up and go on a Friday as well, then.
It'd be like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Don't tell everyone he goes out like on Friday.
Oh, it's on the way, dear.
But I think that's and especially because obviously men, we've got our own confidence and our own anxieties over weight and image or whatever. But I think seeing transformation like that, especially for women who kind of do have, obviously,
I think
the confidence is totally different. Yeah. It's body, like my wife follows lots of influencers and kind of body positive models and there.
Okay, nice, yeah.
And that's and her all time favourite is an American called Ashley Graham, who's a plus size model, who really empowers women to kind of listen, be you and kind of if
you can be big and you can be healthy.
Exactly, and and she is and she looks great, but I think to have something like a woman v fat, whether it's netball, whether it's football,
I think then you'll give it, like you say, same with the guys.
Gives a community as well. It gives that extra.
You're going there. Everyone's there for the same reason. You're not walking into the gym on your own.
No.
As soon as you walk in the gym, it's like, but
it's that herd mentality, isn't it? Yeah. If you, all right, I'm going to do this tonight, but I'm going to do this with the four of us. We're going to go and do this. Or if I'm going to do it myself, I'm much more likely to talk myself out of it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But whereas this, you've got, maybe Pete, Dave, Rob. They're going to go, oh, shut up, mate. Just come on, sort your shit out, right? And sometimes you need that kick up the arse, 100%. But like what you said there with like the women's side of it and the influencers and being big but being healthy, that is 100% a real thing, right? You can be. I mean,
you haven't got to be, 2 stones.
No. Like, so I got told, this is the thing, I got told when I joined Man v Fat that my healthy weight would be 9 stone.
Yeah, which
like,
is ridiculous.
And it's like, I'll never be 9 stone. My ideal weight has changed 4 times since I've done this. I was like, look, I'm going to get under 25 stone. I'm going to get under 20 stone. I'm going to get under 18 stone. I'm going to get under 16. And it's changed so many times through it. And your journey is kind of like when you think that like I'm healthy. Yeah. This is what I wanted. Yeah. I'm where I am. And I think sometimes you need that support mechanism around you and the other guys to say, look, like, I think you've done it, mate. Like, you can try and relax and just try and maintain, be healthy. I mean,
like you've done the hard work, just maintain it now and keep that,
100%.
You haven't got to be skinny or by any means. Like that. I'm not all about that. I think you need to be happy in your own body, whatever weight you are. As long as you're fit and healthy.
As long as you can look in the mirror and you go, like, do you know what, I'm me, I'm happy. That's it. I mean,
100%.
I think that is really, really important. I mean, like I said, I'm 60 and a half stone, but I can still run a 30-minute 5K. Yeah. You can be big and you can still be healthy. You can.
Well, I always remember there was a boy who still, I think he still plays locally, and he was a bigger boy, great footballer, and they'd always, every single week, they'd say the same, big boy, lovely feet.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say about anyone that's tall, isn't it? It's like Crouchy. Was it a little Crouchy? Oh, he's got a great touch for a big guy. Like, no, he's just got a great touch.
Yeah, he's just got a good touch. His size, his weight, his dimension shouldn't come into it. Oh. But no, and obviously, I hope it does come to something, and
100%.
And they would,
it's something in the pipeline.
And it would be really cool. It would be really cool.
So, as of for Merthyr Fat, I'm guessing you want it to just keep on growing and keep on growing.
So we've gone through some absolutely mental growth, right? So when I originally started Merthyr Fat, I was a player in Cardiff, and then I was asked to be a player facilitator. So you're like an assistant coach, and you're out talking to the lads, talking about what works for you and this sort of stuff. And I did that in Newport. And then while I was in Newport, these guys were basically like, look, there's a league opening up in Merthyr. We think you'd be perfect at running. So I was like, all right, well, this is a bit different. I've only ever been pitch side, winding up the lads, having a laugh, talking about diets and stuff like that. And the rest of the time, I'm trying to hack them up to pieces on the pitch, right? But that's a joke, by the way. It's a very nice thing. Nobody hacks anybody. But yeah, I came into Merthyr. My very first session at Merthyr, there was 8 guys. That was my very first session. I remember turning out, there was 8 guys. We just had a quick, like, a knockabout, talked about everything. And I think if you look at that now to
what it is now,
we've just expanded to get teams, 106 beautiful fat men, all losing weight together, over 600 kilos since we've been up and running. It doesn't stop there. So my waiting list at the moment is mental. So I've always been like full capacity in terms of how we've operated. We've never kind of been like couple of people down. We've always been like one out the door. Right, he's finished his journey. He wants to move on. Not a problem. We'll bring someone else in. Yeah. But I think we're now at 106 with 8 teams. The next step is move up to 10 teams. So that's the next step now, which will open the door to another 24 men to get involved. And then when we hit that kind of quota and that target, we'll then split the leagues. So what we'll do then is have 2 leagues running alongside each other. Right. So we'll start with 16 and keep building off the back of that. But it's the growth there has been stupid.
The irony as well, right? The irony of it all is that if you continue on the trajectory that you are, you will actually have more teams on a Friday night Merthyr Fat League than Merthyr Football League currently. Yeah. Which used to, it used to have loads of teams or whatever, and to
I remember playing like 4 or 5 years ago. There was like, we had A's and B's teams, 3 divisions, teams on.
But I think that's a testament to what you've helped to cultivate, you've helped to grow up there.
Got to be honest though, it's not just me. I mean, and there's a lot of support that I get from people who are giving up their time to do this as well, like Owen and Shep and Paige and Lammy and Sims. They were all giving up all their time to help me create this. This is not just me. I might be the face of it. I might be on the podcast talking to you guys, but I promise you there's so many cogs in this wheel that make it turn. And without those guys, there's no way that we'd ever be the types of size that we are now. Running the types of events we've got. We've just upgraded now from 1 11s team. We've now got 2 active 11s teams as well. We will go out and play other Merthyr Fat 11s teams and stuff like that. I mean, away games, home fixtures, and so on. And when you get other teams coming to Penydarren Park to play football, and it's like, right, wow. You're walking, you're getting changed in the home change room. You're walking down a tunnel, and you're like, okay, this is a bit different, right? The only other Man v Fat club that plays in an actual ground is Accrington. Yeah. So they're the only other. Everyone else plays in goal centres, right? So when you're inviting these guys up and they're walking onto the pitch, we play on this every Friday. You know, it's like, it's just something else. It is brilliant. It's brilliant. It is. Well, I was shown a before and after photo of our first session to our most recent session. I was shown a before and after, and to look at it's mind blowing. It's ridiculous.
I think as well, you know, it's as you said, it's the full package, isn't it? And it's the presentation, because you're playing under the lights on a Friday night in Merthyr Park. You turn up, you've got these lovely changing rooms, wonderful facilities. You turn up to a football ground, a historic football ground.
It's not a goal centre.
No, it feels big.
Yeah.
So even though, you know, you're on for your 7-minute hour, am I right?
Yeah, no, so we play a 28-minute game, so it'll be 4 quarters of 7 minutes.
There you go.
So the guys get a small breather and a bit of water in between fixtures, and we do a 7-minute split.
You know, but that's, you know, like to them, you know, that's like, you know, like World Cup stuff, because it's like, oh my God, I'm playing on, and a really, really good friend of mine, he joined a few weeks ago, and he's come to watch Merthyr with me for a long time and supported the club. But he was so excited to be able to say that he was playing on Pandaran Park. The night before. Yeah. And he came on a Saturday, actually, and he was creaking, he was aching, because I think it was first or second set. But he was like, I had so much fun. Yeah. I had so much fun. And the boys are really welcoming. And it's, you know, he said, I got focus, and I want, you know, and we went to an away game. We went to go and watch Merthyr playing Dorchester. And you could see him thinking, right, do I really want that hot dog? Do I really want that?
Thinking about it.
Or you know, do I want, if I wanted, fine, but am I just having it because why? Exactly.
This is the mad one here. So I've got guys who will come in and weigh with me on a Friday. So jump on the scales, they will lose weight, right? And they'll be disappointed that they've not lost more weight. Yeah. That's a mentality shift in someone. They come on the scales like, do you know what, Al, I've had a really good week. I've smashed this week. I've lost half a kilo, right? 2.5 pounds. Like, that's what you've lost in a week. And he's disappointed about that. And you've got to go, mate, look, it is a journey. It is not a quick fix. And it's that what I said at the start, right? Losing weight's not hard. It's consistently losing weight.
And that's the
nails, you know?
Kind of thing for you to manage. Because it can get really disheartening really quickly. And as soon as that switch flicks and they think, oh, this isn't working for me, it becomes a recovery mission rather than a maintenance mission.
But I think, like, obviously with the amount of boys that are there, and I think I come up a few weeks ago just to watch, and like the way they all help each other out, I think
the community is everything.
Yeah, I think, like, obviously if someone is disheartened that week, I think the way the boys all work together, I think is great.
Well, I think it's a big.
And they drag each other through.
I think it's big from the sides. Like, you can be on you don't get it anywhere else where you can be on a pitch and you've got 80 lads who are not playing, right, on the sidelines, and they are genuinely willing everything for you, right? To score on the pitch, to score on the scales. We hit a percentage goal, someone loses 5 or 10% of their body weight, and lads are cheering, like proper getting pat on the back, photo all up on socials. Like, this is proper feel of like, look, it's not just about the football.
No.
We're not a football league. We are a weight loss league, you know, and that's kind of how we position ourselves.
It is a happening.
So to wrap it up then, we ask our guests at the end of a podcast, well, we have.
I was going to say, is there something we've done?
This is like some top secret question you haven't asked me yet.
So basically, if you were to tell someone in your position, or was in your position then, or still is in your position when in the past, what would you like to tell them that future them, how can it be done?
Yeah, 100%. I've kind of always lived by this since that day.
Yeah. When you say 26-year-old,
26-year-old self is fuck the small battles first, right? And I think that's so important. Like, you don't have to. what a lot of people do, they focus on the war, right? Everything that's going on, and people are very easy, and people do it in my family, and I have to have these conversations where it's easy to, that's gone wrong, and it all piles up, and then before you know, oh, fuck it, like, I can't do this anymore. Just fight the one battle at a time. Small battles first, and then before you know it, in 2-3 months, you're in a 10 times better situation, and you're thinking, I don't even know why I always felt like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not as bad as you think it is. It's really not. As long as you break it down and you look at the small battles first, you'll win the war. 100%. Live by that still today.
Well, thank you very much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. Again, I still want a hoodie, mate.
Nice. It's been great. Just as a reminder to our wonderful sponsors, obviously Full Spectrum is coming up. It's Friday, March the 15th. Get involved. It's in the Scarlet in Merthyr. Hopefully see you there. It's worth every penny, and I say that as if it's like £100 a ticket. It was literally. It was like, they can if you want. It all goes to good. It all goes to a good cause. It all goes to charity. They raise money for Andy's Man Club. But it's a fantastic night. Get on to citizentickets.co.uk because they are selling it, and they will sell it. Also to the old Canalside Cottage in Abercanaid, and to Shelley, who runs that. Thank you very much. And hopefully anyone that is coming up this neck of the woods has got somewhere beautiful to stay. And I say that totally biased because I'm an Abercanaid. But yeah, Al, thank you very much.
I also really enjoyed it, guys.
What social media can we find you on?
Oh, you can find me on. I'm absolutely shit at Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I'm pretty shit at social media. My missus dies. I am on Instagram, AJ Williams 972, and there's basically a follow story. On TikTok, it is Fat to Fit Alex, and there's basically a story going through my current journey, what I'm dealing with, and I talk about things like gym fear and that sort of stuff in there as well. And if you are interested in a Manby Fat League or something like that, or you just want to see if there's one in your local areas, just www.manbyfat.com, and you'll be able to sign up and be part of the community.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much again for watching, for listening. Next episode, there will be a segment that I'm going to add in called Your Voice. So please, like I said, get in touch through our social media channels and our email, which is justonemanpod@gmail.com. We would love to know where you're listening from, what you're doing when you're listening to us.
No.
PG.
How much?
Yeah. And basically, if you've got any questions for our past guests, for Alex, and we can kind of just to say,
Or presenters,
just to see how you think the podcast is going. Us three are absolutely loving it. We love giving these conversations to you, which I think it's very important.
It is.
Yeah.
so we got behind the scenes.
We have.
Don't forget.
There will be. Jordan doesn't want it, but there will be some.
But yeah, because I do all the work. Yeah, okay.
This may be the last episode. But no, Al, thank you very much again.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Ravi.
It's been great. The next time you see us, we may not be in this room. We may be somewhere else with a very, very fun guest indeed. So keep your eye out, and we will see you soon.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Ta-da. Bye.